Oh, well, hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and joining Dark Horse Comics for our Wednesday stream. Normally on Wednesdays, we do New Comic Book Day because it is New Comic Book Day at comic shops. We do have new releases, but this week we're going to focus on our holiday selections. We have a holiday gift guide at darkhorse.com, which you can check out now. It's right on our homepage or on our blog. We're going to go through some of the items that are featured on that, and also some of my friends and coworkers here at Dark Horse are going to showcase some of our picks from this weird 2020 for all of you. So super fast, new releases. You just saw the trailer one more time for Tales from the Umbrella Academy, You Look Like Death, which is our current Umbrella Academy series starring Klaus. The new issue is out today. We have, as usual, 3 different covers. They are all equally beautiful. Collect them all, or pick your favorite, but I mean, why wouldn't you collect them all, I think. Of course, this is by Gerard Way, Sean Simon, with art by I&J Colbard, and letters, as always, by Nate Picos, who is the letterer extraordinaire that you have probably seen on these streams a few times. We also have Assassin's Creed Valhalla out today, issue number 3. This is 3 of 3. And then now that these all 3 are out, we will have a collection coming out soon. So you can check all those out on our website as well. Those are the single issues that are new this week. We also have some graphic novels, including the collection of The Seeds, which has been long awaited. We are finally able to bring it to you all together in one collection, which is awesome, in comic shops today and in bookstores and digitally on January 12th. So that's exciting. Now that I've gone through that, I want to introduce all of my friends here. I'm going to go in the order that I see you on my Zoom screen. So Anthony. Hey, Anthony, can you tell folks about what you do at Dark Horse?
Yeah, I'm Anthony. I'm the PR, or one of the PR coordinators here at Dark Horse. I work with creators and licensors to help get the word out about the different books they have coming out, as well as moderate some panels during conventions and virtual conventions for this year and probably next year as well. So you might recognize me from those, or from streams where I've almost exclusively appeared with editor Daniel Shaban for some reason. It's just kind of our schedules have always aligned to just be on stream together. So it's good to be back for the last stream of the year.
The last stream of the year. Yeah, we're going to take a break next week because of the holidays. Probably show some of our highlights from streams past as well, so you can see some of those. But for our holiday send-off, we have a little bit more of a bigger group today. Next up, I want to introduce Gary, who is actually always behind the scenes with me on these Twitch streams, but today he's back on. We can see his face. Hey, Gary.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Director of Information Technology for Dark Horse Comics, and these days I'm making sure everything works for all of us to work wherever we are, and then also hosting streams like this. So working sort of as the producer in the background, making sure everything looks the way it's supposed to, and continually trying to make our streams look better.
We're working on it all the time. 2020 has been a weird year. So thanks everybody who's been tuning in regularly too, or even if you're joining us for the first time, because we've moved to Twitch this year so that we can bring you more live content like this with guests. We often have comics creators, artists, voice actors, and other special guests. We have a lot more of those coming up in January, actually. So stay tuned for more details on that. Next on my screen, I have Brett. Hey, Brett.
Hello. I'm Brett Israel. I'm an editor at Dark Horse. I edit some comics, some art books. I help soon to be announced Ian edit some art books as well. And my favorite color is orange, as you can see.
The orange screen. Brett Gritty Israel. I may refer to him as Gritty for the rest of the stream. Please, actually, we should get a new little title card for Brett. In fact, let's make a note.
I support it.
Next on my lineup, I have Jenny. Hey, Jenny.
Hello, thanks for having me with everybody. My name's Jenny Blank. I'm also an editor at Dark Horse. I work on a lot of really awesome titles, like I work with Mike Mignola and Team Hellboy on all those books. I also work on Avatar and Korra. the comics as well as the art books. I work with the cast of Critical Role on those awesome comics and books for them. And I think that's the majority of what's been announced so far.
So far, you're getting some compliments on the instruments in the background.
Oh, thank you. Yes. My home office is our music room. So
Do you ever like take breaks and just, play a little bit?
oh yeah, every time my brain starts to feel fried, I'll just take. I'm a bassist. My partner plays the guitar, so I'll take down one of the basses and just diddle a little bit. Right now, I've been on a typo negative kick. So
Nice. Let's see if at some point I can get Jenny to do that on a stream. We'll find out.
Maybe.
Watch every week to see what happens. There's also rabbits that live there, so you get sometimes bonus rabbit content.
We're a menagerie.
Yes. So next on my screen, I have Ian. Hello, Ian.
Hello, I'm Ian Tucker, and I'm also an editor at Dark Horse. I primarily work on art and lore books that are licensed from other companies, like for IP like Cyberpunk or Rick and Morty.
All those cool art books, which are impressive. Like, I am continually impressed by the work that you guys do collecting all that information and putting it into those books that we're going to showcase some of in a minute here. So thank you, as always, to Ian for stopping in to give us the lowdown on the most recent ones.
Yeah.
Last but not least, just last on my screen is Kate. Hey, Kate.
Hello. I am Kate. I am the other PR coordinator at Dark Horse. I also do social media alongside Kara some of the times. You will occasionally find me in the streams, but I haven't done it in a little while. But more often than not, you can find me in the chat. So if you see my little name pop up, that's me. It's nice to meet you. Let's see. And since I'm closing us out, I'll kind of give a little brief overview of what we're talking about today. So we're each going to be talking about our holiday favorites. And as a quick reminder, since I'm not in the chat to chat it at you, you can find all these books on our website. You can also find all of them at your local comic shops, local bookstores. You might not know this, but it's been a pretty hard year for them. So definitely give them your money if you can. Yeah, I guess I'll quickly shout out one of my favorites. A little lesser known one, but they sell used comics and books, is Belmont Books in Portland. You can buy them online. They have a really cute Instagram where they post all the weird stuff that they have. And you can just sort of buy from their Instagram. You can buy online from them. You can call them. You can list off like a list of 3 things that you like, and they'll find you a book that is perfectly suited for you. They're really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. That's something that we've done on almost every stream this year, because as we are trying to bring you content, we're all from home, in case you hadn't noticed. So trying to bring you content from our homes to your homes, since we can't be in person at conventions this year, unfortunately. But also, we are trying to support our local comic shops and bookstores. So we usually shout out or have our guests shout out some of their local comic shops as well. We are all based in the Portland, Oregon area, so you're going to hear a lot of that right now, but I do want to open the floor to the crew here. And is there any stores that you would like to shout out, either online or local?
Yeah, Floating World Comics, downtown Portland. They're rad. They used to sell records. They no longer do, but they have everything from all current releases to a bunch of like really weird, hard to find indie stuff. They're also their own little indie press there too. So they put out a lot of their own stuff, which has like a cult following now in the comics community, like Bart Kira and stuff like that. So they also have an online store you can buy from. If you want it shipped to you, they charge like $3 for shipping in a flat rate box. So yeah, Floating World Comics.
Sweet. Any other takers?
Jenny, did you have one there?
I did. Sorry, I'm a little laggy here. Wasn't sure if anybody else had jumped in. I want to shout out Books with Pictures, also in both Portland, Oregon, and they have a shop in Eugene.
Oh, nice.
Katie and Andrea are the ones who run those. You can do limited in-store shopping hours if you feel comfortable with that. They also offer online ordering, curbside pickup, and I know that Katie has also been doing free delivery to your doorstep in the Portland area.
Yeah.
They specialize in comics for everyone is their slogan. So you'll find a lot of alternative authors, queer authors, female authors, creators of color, that sort of thing, kind of focusing on some of the less represented characters and creators in comics. So shout out to Books with Pictures, both Portland and Eugene, really love them.
If anybody in the chat also wants to shout out any of your comic shops to the chat, please feel free to do so. I don't believe you'll be able to drop a link, but you can at least type it out and let people know some of your shops that you like. Yeah, and we also typically in the Portland area again, but also they have a website that you can order from anywhere. Shout out to Things from Another World. They partner with us and carry all of the things that we're going to talk about today. So you can always check with them if you're having a hard time finding something, even if they're not local for you. Their website is tfaw.com, TFAW. Also, the giveaway has opened. The giveaway today, you can win a copy of one of the items that we're going to feature today, which is on our holiday gift guide. And that item is the Umbrella Academy, Volume 3 of the library editions. So it's a big, oversized hardcover, collects all of the Hotel Oblivion series. And the keyword to enter the giveaway is umbrella. Just need to type that, no special characters or anything, enter that in the chat once, and your entry will be counted, and we will draw a winner near the end of the stream, so stay tuned. And unless anybody wants to shout out any more comic shops.
I got one quick one. Just Bridge City Comics up on North Mississippi here in Portland. Owned and operated by Dark Horse alum Michael Ring. It's a great little shop, nice variety, and good people working there.
Sweet. Yes, that's a great call. So like I said, please feel free to drop your own recommendations in the chat if you would like. And we are going to get into our rundown of the holiday gift guide and also our other 2020 picks. You can see the gift guide. We'll drop some links in the chat once again, but just so you know, it's at darkhorse.com. You can look at our blog to see it. The holiday gift guide is something we do every year. We're trying to feature some things that we think will have wide appeal for folks, give you some gift ideas, either for yourself or for others, you know. We're going to talk about some of these, but not all. So I'm going to shout out the ones that we are not going to go into depth on, but I definitely recommend. Those include Black Hammer. There's the World of Black Hammer Library Edition, which is a collection of the side series. So not the main Black Hammer storyline, but this one collects like Sherlock Frankenstein and Dr. Andromeda. I'm pretty sure that Anthony is a fan of this. Also, Brett.
Yeah. If you want to cry, you can read the Dr. Andromeda one.
Yeah, Dr. Andromeda is heartbreaking.
And beautiful.
Yeah.
Max Fiumara's art is just chef's kiss.
I can't recommend it enough, for real.
It's an excellent collection. Again, the library editions, if you don't know, are our big oversized hardcovers. So you get everything at like huge, beautiful size. And then you also get a bonus sketchbook. You get a lot of the cover art from the single issues. So they're a really great package if you're a collector or if you just want to get a couple of stories together in one. Black Hammer, of course, is created by Jeff Lemire and Dean Ormston. However, in this volume, we get to see the work of some other artists like David Rubin and Max Fiumara. So check it out. We also have 2 Burger Books titles on our gift guide this year. The award winners, LaGuardia by Nnedi Okorafor and Tana Ford with James Devlin. And that won not only an Eisner Award this year, but also the Hugo Award, which is pretty awesome. We also have Invisible Kingdom Volume 1. There will be 3 volumes in total, but Invisible Kingdom Volume 1 also won an Eisner Award this year. So major congrats to G. Willow Wilson and Christian Ward. And all books on the Burger Books imprint are, of course, edited by Karen Berger, who is, you know, known for a few things like Vertigo and The Sandman and other titles like that. Now she works for Dark Horse, so we got to have her scouting out some new talent for us. We're going to talk about some of the others on the gift guide in a bit here, including some cyberpunk items. We also have featured The Last of Us Part 2, the Ellie with Bow statue. The figure, rather, is available widely now wherever you normally buy your comics, games, and other figures. The Critical Role book we're going to talk about in a moment as well, so I'll skip that for now. Children's books, we have a picture book by Isabel Bridges Bosch with illustrations by Jeff Bridges. Yes, that Jeff Bridges. It's called Daddy Daughter Day, and it's very sweet, very cute. A good gift, I think, for someone who has kids of their own, and a little story time book. Kate, do you have anything you want to add about Daddy Daughter Day? Because I know you.
Yeah, I got to help run PR on that one, and it was really fun. And also, I think my favorite thing was after the launch, just the number of people, saying they bought it for their daughters, or daughters who bought it for their dads because their dad loves Jeff Bridges, and it was just it was really fun to watch everyone's reaction to it.
Yeah, really, really sweet, really fun. Jeff and Isabel have done a lot of fun videos, like live signing.
Yeah, I think, and Isabel said this a lot too, where she said writing this and like doing the promotion and stuff for it, like during the pandemic, was just a great way for her and her dad to connect and like talk about something that they were working on together when we're also far away from each other. And so it was really nice to be able to take part in that.
Yeah, it's really sweet. You can find that, again, wherever comics or books are sold, normal bookstores too. We also have Avatar, The Last Airbender, Katara and the Pirate Silver, which we're going to talk about in a bit, and The Legend of Korra, Ruins of the Empire Library Edition. Once again, collection, big, oversized hardcover that collects all 3 volumes in one. Jenny, did you want to add anything about the library edition?
Yeah, so in addition to the complete story we have there, about the Empire, you can tell by the cover that, yes, there is a return of one of y'all's favorite antagonists. Won't call her a villain. But in addition, as with the rest of our Avatar and Korra oversized library hardcovers, there's a really nice sketchbook section in the back too. So you can take a look at some of the awesome art by Michelle Wong. You can take a look at some of the color work by Killian Ng. Just look through, see some of their hard work, see some of their commentary on their process. Yeah, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
And we always have to include, Stranger Things, first of all, which I'm going to talk more about in a bit. We have quite a big line of Stranger Things comics, if you did not know. We always must include some of Mike Mignola's comics, of course. So we've selected the Omnibus editions as a good starting point for fans, or a good gift if you want to get somebody into Hellboy for the first time. Omnibus Volume 1, Seed of Destruction, is the one featured in our gift guide. I think all of us would also recommend either of the short stories volumes in the Omnibus collection. I think either of those are really good places to start too. I'm sure Jenny has some thoughts on that as well.
I love the Omnibus editions. Like you said, it's a good place for people to get started. It's not a super huge financial investment if, you're not sure somebody's going to love Hellboy, which of case, I think that's an obvious yes, but I'm biased. So I like the Omnibus as an entry point for Hellboy. It's still a really nice book. They look gorgeous together on the shelves if you decide to put together the whole collection. Yeah, and it's a great financially sound way to dive into a really big, complex, and gorgeous epic storyline.
So yeah, the Omnibus collections also, they collect the Hellboy stories in chronological order, which is something that fans had asked for. So a new arrangement of the stories to read, which is another way that I think it makes it a bit easier for some fans to kind of get into the Hellboy stories. So we will feature the other item that you see, the ornament, in a bit here. We're gonna take a closer look at that one. And finally, the other category on our gift guide each year is, of course, Dark Horse Manga. We have been doing these deluxe editions of some of our manga titles lately, which you might have seen. Again, they're the really nice, oversized hardcover editions of some of our manga, including Berserk. You might have heard of Berserk by Kentaro Miura, perennially one of our most popular titles. So we're excited to bring you these new collections. Each Deluxe Edition volume collects 3 of the smaller manga volumes in one, and we're up to 6 of those now, with more on the way. And also Blade of the Immortal recently got started with Deluxe Edition Volume 1, with more of those to come too. And we're going to dive into the Blade of the Immortal Deluxe a little bit more in a moment here. So again, you can find the full holiday gift guide on our website at darkhorse.com/blog. We also have links that go out to those independent bookstore websites and comic shop locator. So check that out and get some ideas. You know, maybe spend your holiday gift cards after Christmas or something like that. So enough of me talking. I would like to turn it over to Brett to tell you more about his picks.
Okay. Well, I feel like every time I'm on this stream, I bring up Cuisine Chinois, which is my pick for all things ever in the world. It's the first English translated work from Chinese cartoonist Zhao Dao. It's essentially 6 stories about mixing like Chinese culture and folklore with food. So it's Christmas themed because food, you know. But the cartooning in this book is incredible. Zhao Dao is like amazing. The words are kind of escaping me now. Yeah,
really beautiful.
It was working on this book was extremely rewarding, a lot of fun. It was translated by Diana Schutz and Brandon Kander, and as most of us on the stream have worked with Diana before, she's just like really went all out on translating this book. The amount of research she did is intense and incredible. In the back of the book, there's a spread of translator notes as well to give a little bit of insight into kind of her process and the significance of the work itself. Yeah, I love this book. It's a beautiful thing for the holidays and for all time. So yeah.
I thought about picking that one for my pick as well, but I figured Brett would, so I just kind of left that for him because I was like, this is going to come up some way or another, so I'll just leave that.
Yeah, I will shout at you about it. I will throw the book at like a frisbee at you because it's like perfectly shaped for that.
I can't wait until we're at conventions in person again. You can do that.
I'll try not to hit someone because it would probably hurt.
Just find Brett like literally cornering people in our booth.
Read it. Read the book.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm taking note of some of the questions in the chat. Thanks, guys. We'll kind of work these in as we go along here. Brett has another pick though, but I'll have him talk about it first.
Yes, so I don't have a physical copy of this one with me, but as Kara previously mentioned, we have these like deluxe manga volumes. We have ones for Berserk and Hellsing that are out. And the first Blade of the Immortal edition came out this month or last month. I can't exactly remember. But there are these beautiful like faux leather bound books with a ribbon. This one, Blade of the Immortal from Hiroaki Samura. Make sure I didn't butcher that. It's essentially the story of a like mystically cursed samurai, like Ronin samurai. He's helping this young girl exact revenge amongst sword schools across Japan. I wasn't super experienced with manga when I picked it up the first time. It's one of the most beautiful mangas I've ever read. The art is really, really strong throughout. And I feel like if you're not super experienced with manga, and my cat's making this appearance, this is a good jumping in point because I think it bridges kind of like traditional Japanese art and manga style. So,
agreed. Yeah. They're really beautiful collections. It's nice to see the manga at a larger size. You usually get those very small paperback editions. So now you get to see it more at its original size with the artboards, the files that Dark Horse has from actually all three of the series we've done in deluxe editions so far are, I mean, Berserk is an exception because it's still going, but they're all kind of slightly older, like classics, full series. So it's cool to see Blade of the Immortal get this new treatment and reach some new people.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to give a little bit of a content warning. Some of it is more adult. It's not Berserk. It's not that level of, mature content, but yeah.
I do love that Berserk is always pretty much on our holiday guides. Like nothing says Christmas like
Giant swords. And
which cat was that? Was that Roger?
that was Roger, yeah. Stare out
That's
the
a great
window.
cat name.
I have to bring the pets into every stream. So
Roger named after BPRD member Roger, so.
I think you should tell people about your other cat too.
Oh, I don't know where Ripley is. She's
Ripley.
But
very
her
independent
name.
girl. Yeah. And
Brilliant.
could guess where that's from.
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
If any other pets want to make an appearance, please encourage them. I encourage them. Well, thank you, Brett, for both the holiday guide pick and also, the additional pick. Kate is next in our lineup here, and you have another kind of off the holiday guide, but awesome 2020 pick.
Yes. Yeah. So this one was actually edited by Brett. And I think Brett and I picked a similar theme while we were looking at our holiday picks. I picked Papaya Salad, which is another translated book we have. It is written by Elisa Massalari. So sorry, don't speak Italian. And it's edited by Carla Ronzalali di Monterio. I'm so sorry. But it's a really, really beautiful book. If you, it was kind of a sneaker hit for me because I've been just reading a lot of prose, like memoirs, the last couple of months, and I'm not really sure why. But this one is a graphic novel memoir, so I was like, this is a perfect choice. So I picked it up and I absolutely loved it. The art is beautiful. It's really simple, but the colors are so effective, and yeah, it's amazing. And it is the story of the author's great uncle who served in World War II. He was a Thai Italian man, so he just kind of ended up in Italy at the time that the war started. He was studying there and sort of got sucked into a war that he didn't necessarily have anything to do with. It's such an interesting perspective. Everyone and their dad, has a World War II story, but this is one that it's not a perspective I've seen on it before, where it's very multicultural, brings in a lot of like how so many people were impacted, even if it wasn't necessarily directly. And yeah, I think she does a beautiful job covering it. Dark Horse has also done just a really beautiful job with a lot of translated books. So Cuisine Chinois obviously is beautiful and amazing. We've got this one that I'm really excited about that's coming up is Gert and the Sacred Stone. And it is maybe the cutest book I've ever seen. And I'm really excited for that to get into everyone's hands. It got delayed because of the pandemic, but it's coming. I think that's June. Either way, you can pre-order it now. Gert and the Sacred Stone. Look it up. So there's a bunch of those translated books that are coming out. That's not just manga, but is also manga that I really want to push and promote and shout from the roofs about.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad that both of you picked two of our recent international titles. They've been gaining some recognition, which is nice to see. And I'm seeing a lot more like Library Journal and other places kind of pick this up, and just book bloggers and folks who come across it at bookstores. So thank you to everyone who is picking these up and sharing them with people that and posting them online. We love to see that. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Papaya Salad is beautiful.
It's so pretty. It's the art in that book. It blows my mind. Oh,
there's Gert.
Gert.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't say anything about that, so it was hard to find an image probably, but it's really cute.
Thankfully,
I
the
did
easy cheat is always go to darkhorse.com. Anything you have questions about, we should have online as long as it's public knowledge. As long as we promoted it, you should be able to find it on our website. So
Secret stuff.
that's right.
I did want to mention for Papaya Salad, I think the project is really, it was like an eye-opening experience because we, on a lot of these World War II stories, it's uniquely from, if it's like a story that's focusing on Asia, it's uniquely Japanese or uniquely Chinese, and this is Southeast Asian, and how they, like, how the war intersected with their lives, how the relationship with Japan existed, kind of, and how the tenseness there.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, obviously we call it a world war because everyone is involved. We talk about, you know, a total of 7 countries, and it was everybody who was impacted, and it's such an interesting take on it, I think. And it's so personal too for the author and, you know, her uncle, and I'm really glad she found a really beautiful place to tell that story. Also, it's her debut graphic novel, which is crazy to me because it's truly so much talent there, and I'm excited to see the rest of what she does.
I've seen it called out a few times for being such a great blend of her Italian and, you know, Southeast Asian roots too, like in the art style and the storytelling and everything as well. So I think that's a really cool and unique. As Kate said, I'm really interested to see what else she does. So
yeah,
pretty excited. Jenny is next on my list for recommendations, but I also want to relay one more question from the chat. We're really excited about your bass guitars, and the people want to know, do you have a favorite?
Oh,
can you choose a favorite child?
They're not listening, so I guess I can tell you. So one of them, the brown one you can see there is an Ibanez, and then the black and white one is just the black and white one was my first one. It's a cheap little starter Squire J bass.
No.
And that's always the one that I reach for first for purely sentimental reasons. But yes,
that's very fair.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them.
Thank you for satisfying the curiosity, and I will let you know if and when we get some more questions about your instruments.
Yeah, anybody looking to start playing bass, plug for the Squire basses. Just the little J bass is a really good starter. Can get them used for super cheap.
You didn't know when you came to this stream today that you would be getting bass advice.
I did not. I'm grateful for the lighting because my face is turning red. I can feel it.
Well, I, for one, appreciate it. And like I said, the chat's very interested in it. So maybe we should do a comic about bass at some point.
I'm down for music comics.
Yeah. we haven't done them before. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Such notable titles as Slayer,
right? And then, you know, we had Fifth Beatle going to the opposite side of things, you know.
That's a bit of a 180.
Yep, you know.
Well, speaking of 180s, you have some very different books on your picks.
I do. And I was so excited to see both of these mentioned on the holiday list because I adore both of these series. And like I mentioned before, I am lucky enough to work on both of them. So my first pick for this holiday is Avatar: The Last Airbender, Katara and the Pirate's Silver. This is a little paperback. It's out now. It's available. You can pick it up at your local indie comic shop or bookstore. You can also order from us online, as you've mentioned. This is kind of a special one, not only because it's a heckin' awesome story, written by Faith Erin Hicks, art by Peter Wortman, colors by Adele Matera, and lettering, of course, by Comicraft's Jimmy Betancourt. This, as opposed to some of the other 3-parter stories that we've done for both Avatar and Korra in the past, this is a self-contained story. So this is a one-off, if you will. But it's fabulous, it's complex, it's exciting, and it starts out when, you know, the gang is going along on Appa. They're having a good time flying over the Earth Kingdom, you know, like Team Avatar do. And all of a sudden, they are attacked by some flaming balls from Fire Nation soldiers. I know, again, like you do when you're Team Avatar. Well, this time, Katara gets knocked off of Appa's back. And she falls. She's okay, I promise. But she ends up getting separated from the rest of the team and has to try and make her own way and kind of instead of going with the flow, like she kind of does as a water person, she has to kind of toughen up, learn to set some boundaries, break some old ones, and kind of sink or swim, as the tagline says. So I love this story. It's great. Art is beautiful. The voices sound spot on to the animated series characters too. Faith does a lovely job with that all the time. And like I said, this is great too, because you can read it all in one sitting. You don't have to wait for the next part to come out in 6 months. You can just curl up and enjoy it.
And do you want to mention the other one-offs that we have coming up?
Yeah, I can. I was just like, wait a minute, did we announce both of them? But we have announced both of those. Just checking my internal calendar. So this is the first of 3 one-offs featuring some of the main female characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Coming up next, we have one about Toph Beifong's Metal Bending Academy. That one is also super cool. You'll learn some fun things about a new bending type. We've seen it before. It's not totally new, but it's new to Toph. So we'll learn about that in that one. And then we also just announced that we are doing Suki Alone, which is one about Suki trying to get by and make her own way and survive for the first time without her Kyoshi warrior sisters or with Team Avatar on the Boiling Rock. So it's about her time there. And they're all just wonderful stories. Like I said, I'm super biased. But they each have really decidedly different tones that really reflect the different characters' personalities super well. And I think people are gonna love them. And like I said, those 2 will also be one-off, so you can sit down, read the whole story. You don't have to wait 6 months for the second part.
And for those who have been tuning into these streams regularly, and we've talked with Rachel and Jenny both about all the Avatar books and what's coming up next and what's next for Korra and things like that. This book about Suki was the next one that we were talking about that was going to be announced. It's announced now. Suki Alone is the next one-off in that Katara, Toph, and now Suki kind of trilogy-ish. I mean, like Jenny said, they're all standalone stories, but
yeah. And they all feature the same creative team. So you have Faith Erin Hicks writing, you have Peter Wortman drawing, Adele and Jimmy doing colors and letters respectively. So it's a good team. They've got a lot going. Definitely worth picking up.
One of the joys of this year has been I've been able to work with Faith a lot more and read a lot more of her work as I work on the Avatar line. And it's really good. She's a fantastic person and writer. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the Forgotten City or City?
Oh, I can look it up real quick.
What's that? I'm losing the title, but I read it for the first time last year and it was so good.
Nameless City or something?
Nameless City, yes. Thank you, Brett. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. So if you like Faith's work, that's another series you might pick up.
all right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your next pick, Jenny?
Oh gosh, like you said, 180, definite 180, 180 for everything, 180 for size, 180 for style. I guess the only thing that's not a 180 is the fact that it's a really good comic. So my second pick is the Critical Role Vox Machina Origins Library Edition hardcover. It's so big I can't even fit it all on the screen. Here, I'll hold it up with Katara. So you can just see the size difference here. Look at that.
There was so big of a difference.
Oh gosh, yes. So this Vox Machina book collects series 1 and 2, which is all the ones we've done so far about Critical Role's first campaign, which of course is Vox Machina. So the first series covers the gang kind of getting together for the first time. It shows how Grog and Scanlan meet up with Vex and Vax, meet up with everybody else, Tiberius, Keyleth, and how they kind of have their first adventure together and figure out, okay, this is working for us, we should probably do it. And then you get into the second series, which is where poor Grog goes missing and everybody has to go out and find him. And I love the second series because it really shows them coming together, not just out of need for financial gain, which, you know, if you follow Critical Role, is always a huge motivator. But it really shows them starting to care about one another, and really starting to form that bond that you see shine in the Critical Role live casts that they do. So this book, like I said, collects both those series, 1 and 2. It also has a gorgeous sketchbook section in the back. So you've got character designs and things from the first and second series. It's written, so the first one was written by, oh my gosh, Matthew Colville. Sorry, Matthew. Matthew Colville. And then the second series was written by Jody Hauser. But then you have the same artistic talents of Olivia Sampson in both those series. She draws all of them. And then for colors on the first one, you have Chris Northrup, who also did the lettering. And in the second series, M. Sassy K does the colors and Ariana Marr does the lettering. I think you've had Ariana on stream before, right, Kara?
Yes, Jody and Ariana both, they are always up for streams, which is awesome. And it's really cool to hear from Ariana about lettering.
Oh my gosh, her lettering is so good. I think letters get overlooked a lot in comics, just because we tend to focus on the words and the pictures, but how the words communicate and how they interact with the art is such a big part of the atmosphere of the comics. And boy, the Critical Role comics really showcase that. This is one of my favorite pages there. I don't know if you can see it, but the spellcast lettering is kind of circling around the page and interacting with different art elements. It's really masterfully done. So this is a great holiday pick because you get both series, and if you maybe are trying to get somebody invested in it or somebody's interested but haven't read it all before, this is a really good combination of class and financial good decision making in a pandemic year, because the whole thing, I mean, it's a $40 book, but that's for a nice library edition hardcover. It's oversized, like you said. It has both series in it. And it has those extras in the sketchbook background or sketchbook section. So it's a good investment. It also has a foreword, which the other ones don't. And this one is by Gail Simone. You've probably heard of her, big comics writer, but she's also a huge critter. So she wrote a very sweet, very funny intro for this library edition. And this is the only edition that has that intro. So if you have somebody in your life who's interested in Critical Role, this is a good way to get them the complete first and second series without having to spend a ton of money or trying to track down individual issues or editions. So
you're so responsible, Jenny, telling us reminding us that these are good financial decisions too.
You know, I was a grad student. I know what it is like. So,
you're way more mindful of that kind of thing. I'm just like this.
Well, you know what? That's the difference, though. Ian, your art books are just full of so much cool material and so many awesome extras. This one is pared down to, you know, let's do the story, let's do some image extras, and it's perfect. And then if people decide they want to invest more in the series, there's material out there for that.
But as you showed with the size comparison, that's such an amazing reward on those covers. It's huge.
It's a gorgeous book. We're super happy to put it together. And then I have to show. So this is one of the first sketchbook pages we see is this big one of Grog. And that was a custom variant cover that Babstar did for the first issue of the second series. And this is the only place you'll see that printed is in this library edition.
Yeah, that was a convention exclusive, so
yeah,
rare.
Mm-hmm. Pretty though, so pretty.
I know you had some other like page selections. Did you want us to take a look at those, or?
Yeah, we can. I mean, the ones that I grabbed for Katara show basically the beginning of her story. She's up on Appa, they're flying along. then they get very rudely attacked by the Fire Nation. And that's where the excitement starts.
I think most of the pages that I know I have are from the Critical Role edition. But we can always take a digital peek inside Katara as well.
Good.
But yeah, this library edition, if you watched our last stream with Jody and Ariana, I was showing off this and also the big deluxe edition set. And I do work out, but that was a bit of a workout, like sustained.
I wanted to get you a back brace.
It was just holding things out, I was not being very ergonomically appropriate because I was trying to hold things up for the camera. And so by the end of that, my arms were just like, so
gotta lift deluxe editions with your legs.
Yeah, I know, right? My setup here is not exactly like compatible for proper lifting, unfortunately. So use caution when lifting your library editions at home, folks, and you're doing your workouts with your curls and whatnot.
Yeah, but lift with the knees. Lift with the knees.
So Gary is a wizard, and now we are looking at Magnificent Appa.
Excellent.
Appa under attack.
It's okay. Appa's fine. I promise. Appa's always fine.
Appa will always be fine. Otherwise, I will have something to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sound effect too. I just want to point that out.
Yes, the shoom.
Speaking of lettering.
Yeah, lettering and the colors here too. Adele just nailed it with the glow from the fire. It's gorgeous. So very, very dramatic. And then we see Katara fall away. Thankfully, there's water under her. It works out okay, I promise. But like I said, it's the start of a new and slightly frightening adventure for her. I will also tell fans that in this particular book, you get to read the opening bars of the Fire Nation anthem.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so fun in there. I won't tell you what they are. You'll have to go read it.
Is there like musical notation to go with it?
There is not music that you can read, but there are musical notes that let you know that the character is singing. Yes, it's very clearly singing.
In the future, please play us a bass line.
I'll have to work with Nickelodeon and see if I can come up with like an official score for the Fire Nation anthem.
That's going to be a solid gold stream.
Oh, God.
Well, thank you, Jenny, for showcasing our new Avatar Katara book and also the epic Critical Role. I don't have a physical copy right now, but yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, two very different things in very different packages. Both awesome comics. I know all y'all know somebody who would like one or the other of these, possibly both.
Possibly both, yeah. Well, on that note, speaking of large, oversized, and incredibly epic books, Ian has a pair of...
Thanks for qualifying that with books, Kara.
I know, right?
Wow.
You might think, like, people, you just gotta wait for it, Don't rush it.
All right. Epic
books here.
Yeah, well, my first thing that's not in our guide, but that I wanted to show off, I'm very, very proud of this one. It's the Rick and Morty character guide. So it goes through the first 3 seasons of the show. We finished putting it, I take it back, actually, we did get some stuff in here from season 4. But we worked with some writers from the show's team. Albro Lundy, specifically, is a writer on the show and a producer. And put together this hardcover collection of basically detailing each character, pretty much everybody we could think of. So one of the fun things about this book actually is that it's not all exactly uniform. It's kind of there's this framing device of it being a report put together by the Galactic Federation. But we didn't want things to become just too static, just kind of, we've got this kind of techie stuff that's, the stuff for like the most wanted. We got all of our Ricks and our Mortys and our Summers in here. But as we proceed, we start to get into stuff that's like, well, maybe we don't have details on everybody in that galactic database. So maybe we have like tabloids for everybody from interdimensional cable. So we've got different shreds of tabloids from alternate universes. Then we've also got, all the detailed alien races. So we have a big like printout of like a dot matrix hospital database. And moving on still, we've got all the organizations from within the universe of Rick and Morty, multiverse of Rick and Morty. So we've got a textbook from the Citadel of Ricks that maybe is like at the Morty school that details things like the United States government or the Vindicators or the Galactic Federation itself. So there's a lot of variety in here. Again, we wanted to get as much content in here as was conceivable, but we wanted to present it in a kind of narrative that we thought would be satisfying to fans of the show. We know how demanding fans of the show can be. We know they expect a lot from the show, and we feel the same way as fans about the content that we produce for it. So this was a real joy to put together. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. Our designer Justin on this book also just really sold it. Again, here's one of the chapter breaks that just kind of shows these manila folders sort of that kind of list all the crimes that for which Rick and Morty are responsible in the Federation's eyes.
I love the little bits and bobs on there too, like that sticky note that was on there that looked like it was about to peel up off the page. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's all kinds of great stuff like that. And this is, this guy. So this was kind of a funny example. So little spoiler here. Folks who've seen the episode might remember that's Jan Michael Vincent. Well, we couldn't get cleared to say it's Jan Michael Vincent. So we just said, anybody know who this guy is? So a little insider knowledge there. And then I think something that I like a lot near the end of the book here. So when you start to get to the real ancillary characters who are a little bit harder to represent, like say Jerry's family, we just gave those all to Jerry. We said Jerry just put together his own sad little scrapbook with the most forgettable menial characters. So they're right there at the end of the book, but it meant that we got to include just about everybody, at least through season 4. So that was a real joy to make, and I hope everybody has a good time reading it too. I think it's super fun, a real blast.
One of my favorite pages in there is the Crimbopulous Michael entry, because I think it's like Morty talking about who it is, and he completely gets his name wrong and completely gets the episode he's from wrong. It's just like, I think that's where I met this guy. I don't really remember.
It's a drunk Rick, and that was another conceit, is that we had to say, well, Rick probably wouldn't keep a journal, so we're gonna say it's an alternate journaling Rick. So he just keeps shouting, "I'm journaling Rick," and he's made all kinds of doodles on the pages here. Zeep Zanflorp is kind of Rick's worse half from his micro dimension. He's drawn crude little ears and stuff on him. Just letting everybody know what he really thinks about him. We got to assign names to all of the kind of Mad Max style guys from the Rick Mansing the Stone. So we've got like Fistules and Mr. Blister, things like that. Just having fun with it. So
I love it.
So that was a blast. I'm a big fan of Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland. I have been since Dan Harmon was doing Scud with Rob Schraub, and Justin Roiland was doing Channel 101 with those guys. Just continually putting out great stuff for decades now. So
this is a really fun book. Like, once again, great job to you and Brett and the designers, like everybody. Those of you who are all, please go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the designers worked so hard on this one. It was again, you can see it's almost like 6 books in one. So it was an enormous effort, but again, we're all just so pleased with how it came out.
I love, there's so much detail. Like Jenny pointed out, those little Post-its, like there's so many fun little things on every page. I always check first, as I'm sure other people do too, for like some of my favorite characters. So I'm curious, those of you here who are Rick and Morty fans, like what are some of your favorite characters?
Crumbopulous Michael, for a very specific reason that is funny to nobody but me and my college friends. But basically, it was like the most obscure answer in a like drinking game we were playing in college, and it was like my turn to answer. I could not figure out who it was, and they're just like, you know who this is. You've seen the show, you know. I was just like, how would I ever know that that's what that character's name was? So forever, he's my favorite Rick and Morty character just because of the memories associated with that really dumb fun night in college.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So that's why it
Especially
tickled
for
me. That's why that page in the character guide tickled me so much, because I'm just like, yeah, 100%.
I personally look immediately for Snowball to make sure that Snowball is included.
Snowball is.
Oh yeah.
Snowball and Crumbopulous Michael are in the same chapter. They're in Rick's kind of frenemies chapter. So it's like it's folks with whom he may have at one point been at odds, and some folks with whom he's still at odds. But we just figured that was kind of a fun way to put it together. And that chapter is supposed to look like the notebooks from Seven. So just like kind of mad ramblings with like, you know, stuff pasted in there. So that was fun.
That whole Jerry section in the back, I feel so bad for him all the time. I was happy that Jerry got his space in this book to shine, but everything in that chapter is like, God damn it, Jerry, why you like this?
He's so pitiable. He's so awful. You know, you feel bad wasting your time pitying him, but it's also so funny just because he's so inept, even at his dumb little sketchbook that he tries to do. Everything's crooked, everything's jagged. You know, it's really, I think there's just a lot of personality there. So, yeah. I mean, he's just kind of processing all of his trauma through this thing.
That's kind of perfect for 2020, you know, like journaling your 2020 troubles.
Oh man, yeah.
So this book is a lot of fun, I think, for Rick and Morty hardcore fans, for casual fans, for really anyone who wants a funny book, I think.
I think if you're just into like sci-fi and comedy, even, yeah, I mean, you're probably already a fan of Rick and Morty if you like those two things. But yeah, it might be a fun little primer. Just, you know, it's a little dense. There's a lot of character information, but it's written from our goal is to kind of write it from an objective perspective. So yeah, I really hope folks like it.
Yeah, I man, when McDonald's re-released the Szechuan sauce that one day, I got some. I got some. I got a little thing of it, and I had like different outlets reach out to me asking to be interviewed. I'm just like, no. And I can honestly say that was one of the biggest waste of times of my life. 10 out of 10 would not suggest going to spend half your day waiting in line at McDonald's to get a little thing of sauce. That was.
I think Binging with Babish did an episode where he recreated it. So just
yeah, he did.
Look it up yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've done it since then, and it's much better than what I got from.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that caused such a pop culture phenomenon just because it was on Rick and Morty.
I know.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, you got to lean into it, man. It's funny stuff too. It's a very funny episode.
Every time I look at this book, I just immediately get that Pickle Rick song in my head too. So I hope you're happy.
Hope you're happy.
I blame you. That's not true. I actually enjoy that remix, which you should look up on the YouTubes. It's pretty entertaining, but it will get stuck in your head a lot. So I don't want to neglect your next book, Ian. What else?
Sure.
Show us what you got.
Absolutely. This one, I will show you what I got. This one is in our gift guide. This is one that we actually put together right at the end of very last year. And we were off to the printers before the first unfortunate delay. But this is the World of Cyberpunk 2077. This one was also a great deal of work, but just enormously fulfilling. The World of Cyberpunk is just filled with so much incredible lore. And I love the idea that the Cyberpunk history kind of dovetails with our existing history, since the Cyberpunk brand has existed since the 1990s. So they were already speculating then that, you know, well, maybe in the year 2000, 2048, we'll have like an enormous, civil war or corporate war in the United States that will affect life into 2020. And things have shaped out a little differently, but still, we write from the perspective that indeed this is Cyberpunk's history. So one good example of this is the flag of Northern California that was first adopted in the year 2012. We're implying that, I think 1999 is the break point at which our history diverges from Cyberpunk's. So this book was really fascinating. Kind of like Rick and Morty, each chapter is presented a little bit differently. It's supposed to look like snippets from various magazines that would have been published in Night City that are chronicling different elements of the world or different important events from the world. So technology, for example, is a big one. And we kind of thought, well, maybe we'll have that look a little bit like Wired magazine. Just with sharper lines and, sans serif texts and things like that. Meanwhile, near the end of the book, we actually have an interview with Rogue, who's a character we all meet a little bit early on in the game. She was already kind of a fixture of cyberpunk lore. And we start to present that with like more serif fonts and feels a little bit more like Rolling Stone, So I think this was really exciting for us to develop and continuously develop over the course of almost a year. Our designer, Lynn, who worked on this one, again, just stupendous work. Really kind of just a intimate familiarity with our goals for this project. So, in some cases when we have like the gangs, like here's the animals, for example, we wanted this to look a little bit like, somebody was hacking into the system to get this information. So we've also got some places where little boxes have loaded up that just say, data not found. I'm not going to show the Moxie spread because that might get us in trouble on Twitch. Yeah, here's one. So this is the Scavengers, for example. They don't really have like a logo associated with them. So we're just like, oh, there's no content on file for that. Just thought that was a fun way to present that information or that perhaps absence of information in the context of this world. So it's interesting now, after having spent so much time with this, to actually play the game and sort of feel like I am living in that world. I'm really enjoying what it has to offer, especially in the context of having worked on this.
Yeah, this is another absolutely amazing book, I think, with just filled with detail. I love the fake ads. I love the style. I don't know. I'm a sucker for fake ads, I guess, because we have some in our comics as well. But I think that really does a good job of bringing you into the world. This book really helps you get immersed in that world and feel like you're there because you're immersed in the things that you would see.
I agree. And I think our conceit that it's, from these are snippets from magazine articles, perhaps just bound together in like a commemorative volume. It makes sense that you'd see ads there. And obviously anybody who's played the game or seen the book at this point knows the ads can be really cynical. So there's ads advertising like real water, only $100 a gallon, and it's like, oh, woof, that's dark, Yeah. But it really immerses you, which I think is just great.
It's really cool. I mean, this did come out initially a few months ago now, and I know for everybody, we're all, anticipating and waiting for the game, and it was great to be able to get into something cyberpunk, like between this and our comics. I saw a lot of folks who were just really excited to be able to get something cyberpunk, even before the game. So yeah, I know the game is, difficult right now, but enjoy the world of cyberpunk.
Yeah. It's, unfortunately, the release was a little bit divisive, but I think any product that generates a lot of hype before it comes out is going to be. I'm really happy that the people are able to enjoy it, are enjoying it. And I hope that'll be more people soon. Incidentally, here's that real water ad. There you go. There's, again, it's just an amazing world. As I'm playing the game too, I'm really interested to see how our relationship with the John Silverhand character develops, because he was just this enigma leading up to it. Obviously, very publicly represented by everybody's favorite action hero, Keanu Reeves. So But it's fascinating that he's such a complex character too. Not really spoiling anything to say, but you're kind of intimately linked with him from his introduction in the game, and you might find that your own goals as a player might be at odds with Johnny's goals. So it's kind of cool actually to be exposed to that kind of conflict. I think it's neat.
It's a really interesting, richly detailed world. We've, on previous streams, you guys have joined us to show off like the Deluxe Edition too.
Yeah, I actually have that one here too. I can show that off a little bit here as well. So this was really fun. Again, Lynn is the designer who worked on this, and he just did a remarkable job. So our goal with this package was to have it kind of feel like maybe one of the mega blocks in a night city. Just kind of residential, steel and concrete, lots of graffiti, and it's this very uniquely designed slipcase. Pops off like this. I love this little window that's in there. Then we have, of course, the book, which is, it might be a little hard to see, but it's the Night City map. And it's really interesting, gritty texture too. That's very satisfying to the touch. Same content inside, nice black gilding, unique end papers though too. So slightly different feature, but then some value-added components we have, just kind of your little Night City welcome kit. So we have a poster for Johnny Silverhand / Samurai fans. We have a sheet of temporary tattoos. Let me omit the swears. I can't omit all the swears. But yeah, they're temporary tattoos. They seal on just like they always have. And we also have some postcards, which feature kind of for any Top Gear / Grand Tour fans out there.
Yeah, the vehicle postcards are excellent to see.
Yeah, some of the rides.
Refrigerator decorations.
Oh yeah, totally. So yeah, those are a couple of our little goodies that come with this deluxe edition pack for this book.
Has anybody pulled their money to get a Cybertruck yet?
I want a Cybertruck.
I want a Cybertruck so bad.
My brother has one on order.
Really?
Wow.
I'll go to your brother's house.
I wanted anything more in my life than I want a Cybertruck.
It's only about as much as like a regular new car with some pretty good features. So
that's what he was saying. He really wants an electric truck because he needs clearance where he lives. He lives up in the mountains, and that's the cheapest right now until other ones come out. Nobody has pricing on Ford. Nobody has pricing, and all the other ones are super luxury. So the Cybertruck is cheap.
Yeah.
So when he gets it, please let us know because we need to take some glamour shots of like Ian posing on the hood with the book.
That's right. I'll put on my V cosplay.
There you go. Full leather Kaza.
Oh man. I can't wait. Yeah, Gary, keep us posted. Cybertruck. Yeah, you can see both the standard edition of this book and the really cool deluxe with all of its extras on our website. We've been dropping some links in the chat. Thank you, Brett and Ian, both for coming on a couple streams to talk about these because there's a lot of detail.
Happy to. Yeah, they were a labor of love. Again, challenge, but I think we came out with a really, really excellent product at the end.
I'm really impressed with all our Cyberpunk items. Like honestly, we have all kinds of things. We have really cool figures, like they're really nicely done. A lot of different characters. Some are out now, some are coming soon. We again dropped some links in the chat so you can see everything. But then there's shot glasses, other glassware, mugs, puzzles. Like the puzzles have cool art. So if you like the art and the style of Cyberpunk, there's a lot of cool accessories you can get. Anthony, I know you had to wait a bit to talk about yours, but you have a pretty cool pick.
Yeah, so this one isn't on the holiday gift guide because I'm a rebel. It's Raiders. It's an original graphic novel. Came out earlier this year. Kind of at the beginning of when the world ended a little bit. So it is written by Daniel Friedman, illustrated by Crom, whose stuff is just incredible. He's a tattoo artist by trade, but his stuff is just insane. It's like a weird mix between like Mignola and Ghost Shrimp, who worked on Adventure Time, and his color palette is just really, it's a mix of like dark and bright neons. And it's a weirdly relevant story about two brothers trying to make a living and then get revenge and rage kind of against a system, a world that is built from the ground up to keep people oppressed in every way possible. And just kind of the inevitability and impossibilities that world presents. And it's a really, really cool story if you like fantasy or are a fan of like Dungeons and Dragons or Dark Souls or something like that. As well as just like a really touching human story about siblinghood, platonic romantic love, and just, you know, trying to carve out individuality in a world that doesn't want you to have individuality, and then really kind of fighting against that system when it does exactly what it's designed to do, which is take away everything from you. Again, weirdly relevant for the world we live in right now. So I highly suggest it. It's really cool. Like I said, the art is just some of my favorite of the year. Chrome stuff is second to none.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this as well. Like, this is a really fun book. As Anthony said, all those interests, you know, if you like D&D, fantasy, adventure, this is a fun twist on it. And Kron's art is ridiculous. They've been doing, he and Daniel Friedman have been running some cool, like, draw in your style Raiders contests on their Instagram. And I think the most recent one just ended, but you should check them out on Instagram and kind of keep up with their news and events and happenings, because they're doing some cool stuff to kind of help support the book.
Yeah. And I believe a printing of it's coming early 2021 because people were way into this, as rightly they should be. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's fun. Even after my kind of grim, dark pitch of it, it's still just a really fun book. And it's one of those ones where, at least when I read it, I just read it cover to cover. I didn't put it down. I didn't take a break to stop doing something else, which I often do when I'm reading just as a person. And this one was just so gripping that I just decided to sit there and read it cover to cover. So
yeah, this is really cool. Definitely make a note. If it's not available at your shop right now, see if you can pre-order it, because like Anthony said, we're going to have another printing coming soon. And I'm really happy for them that this has been successful. It's really cool to see an OGN take off.
Yep, me too. I love creator-owned stuff. I mean, all our licensed stuff is phenomenal. I mean, we get to work with CD Projekt Red on Cyberpunk, and how cool is that? But really getting to see our creator-owned stuff really shine and just be really cool is always just such a satisfying thing. So yeah, check out Raiders for sure.
Raiders. Again, we'll drop some links in the chat here too. And if you are watching this and you have Raiders or any of these books we're talking about, and do you want to post about them on social media, tag Dark Horse. We love to see that, you know, you've got it and that you're happy and that you're spreading the word about it. And we may spread the word further by sharing your stuff. So I have a couple picks, one from the holiday guide and one just a for fun 2020 pick as well. First up, Stranger Things, Zombie Boys. That's on our holiday gift guide as one of our all ages selections. It's one of our young adult graphic novels. We have a few now that are in the Stranger Things line. We have a whole big line of Stranger Things comics, which is pretty exciting. Spencer Cushing is the editor on these. He's been on stream with us a few times to talk about the ever-expanding Stranger Things comics universe. This particular book is written by Greg Pak, who has also joined us on stream a few times, notably for the Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons gameplay, etc. Greg is the writer of all these YA editions of different Stranger Things. OGNs like Zombie Boys here, which is one volume, all in one go, a really fun original story. He also wrote the free comic book day issue that we had come out this year, which is one of my personal favorites, and I strongly recommend it. It's available for free at Dark Horse Digital. If you didn't read it yet, you should pick it up. it also has a lot of good D&D references because why not? It's Stranger Things. It's everywhere, right? But yeah, Zombie Boys is a really fun story of kind of what happens after the events of season 1, and the boys are back together, but obviously pretty affected by what happened to Will in the Upside Down. And they meet a new kid, a new original character created for this story. He moves to town, and because it's the 80s, this new kid, Joey Kim is his name, he's really into film, and so he has a Betamax. And he wants to make a movie with the boys in the AV club, who are our boys. And so they all get together and they decide to make a zombie movie. And that is why it is called Zombie Boys. It is not because they turn into zombies. It is because they make a zombie film. And it's really fun. It's full of 80s like style art. It's fabulous. It's really entertaining. It's definitely something that you can read to a kid or with a kid, recommended for ages 12 and up. And the art in this is by Valeria Favoccia. Brilliant. It's fun. On these Stranger Things books, we get to see kind of a different team of artists for each one. So there's a slightly different style in each book. And this one is another, I think this is the first time I've seen her work. But it really lends itself to the story being told. Colors on this are by Dan Jackson. The cover art is a bit different than the interiors, as is often the case. Ron Chan is the cover artist on this one. So Stranger Things, Zombie Boys is a really fun one for maybe the kid or the teen in your life who's maybe a fan of Stranger Things. And like I said, we have tons of other comic series. The 2 ongoing right now are Stranger Things Science Camp, which is another fun one that gives us a look at what happened to Dustin at Camp Nowhere and how he met Susie and all of that fun stuff that they hint at in the latest season of Stranger Things. That one is written by Jody Houser, who writes most of the single issue Stranger Things comics. And we're on, the next issue comes out next week. So look out for that at your comic shops. We also currently have Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons, like I mentioned. That's another mini-series that's ongoing right now with Jody and Jim Zub co-writing. And if you love D&D, you will definitely recognize it's basically like a love letter to Dungeons and Dragons. Jim, of course, has been a longtime D&D comics writer. Jody also is a big RPG player. So they really worked in a lot of fun detail, really hitting those 80s nostalgia buttons, as well as the Stranger Things fandom. So all the Stranger Things comics, I recommend. They're a lot of fun if you're a fan of the show or just good comics and you like that kind of 80s nostalgia.
I really appreciate that
please.
They're just for everybody, you know, like we've got the young adult like Zombie Boys, but like young adults and like kids and stuff would love the Stranger Things D&D. Anyone who loves D&D would love the Stranger Things D&D comics. Anyone who loves Stranger Things would like them all. Like it is really just a beautiful kind of line that has something for every single fan.
I agree. Thank you for backing me up.
Yes.
Yeah, no, like seriously, I wanted to make sure that we shouted out Stranger Things today because it's a big program, and like Kate and I were just saying, I think there's something for everyone. So even if Zombie Boys, even if the young adult ones are maybe not as much your thing, check them out. There's tons of different miniseries, all listed at darkhorse.com.
Admittedly, being a fan of both Dungeons and Dragons and Stranger Things, I have not read Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons yet.
Gotta get on it.
Well, I mean, you can also wait for the trade. You know, if you're a trade waiter. But yeah, no, they're super fun. And the cool thing about the Stranger Things comics too, I think, is we have each issue gets a different, like they each have 4 different covers. So you get all kinds of really cool artists and very different art styles for each one. And the Stranger Things in D&D especially, the main covers are all by Eric Gist, E.M. Gist, who, if you're into that kind of thing, you'll recognize his work from especially like epic fantasy art and epic fantasy art covers. He's done like our God of War art books as well. Ian, I just now noticed that you have a cat, and I'm going to interrupt myself. What's your cat's name?
This is Up, Down, Down.
That's a great name.
Interesting. Tell us more.
Oh, he's about 11 years old. He's a very good boy when he's not having potty problems. But Yeah, he's a little sweetheart. He likes to fetch, and likes to play, likes to sleep. He's a good guy.
Sounds
Yes.
like a solid cat.
Yeah.
I
Well done.
love that name.
Yeah, it's a really good name.
Well, he's welcome anytime.
Oh yeah,
Feel
he'll
free to
be
hang
around.
Yeah, the Stranger Things D&D covers. So Eric does one, like the main cover for each of the 4 in the series. We also have kind of a rotating cast on variant covers, and that's included work by like Max Dunbar, who's another perennial D&D comics artist. We also have Anna Dittman doing a series of covers, and each one of the 4 features a different one of the boys. And then we also have these cool retro covers. Let me see if I can.
Trying to find the 4 up that we had all 4 on one shot.
Yeah. So it's actually all part of one art piece that was done, and then we kind of split it up to make 4 different covers. Let me see if I can grab it too. But so those are fun if you like, they're the most vintage, like nostalgic ones, I think, of the whole lot. And I know Spencer's pretty proud of those too. So I have too many tabs open. Did we get those? Yes, there they are. So yeah, we have 4 different ones, and these are sort of like the boys' characters in the game. So you're seeing each one of their, like their dwarf, barbarian, and their different actual classes in the D&D game that they play. So pretty fun, pretty cool. Like we're saying, if you like Stranger Things, if you like D&D, it's a really fun series. Also, I wanted to pick another series that is not mentioned in our holiday guide, but has been ongoing in 2020. It's the Bill and Ted Are Doomed comic series. It's a prequel story to Bill and Ted, the Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted 3. We, of course, worked with Evan Dorkin, who wrote the original Bill and Ted comics as well. So he is definitely back and still doing an excellent job with the Bill and Ted comics. Art on this series is by Roger Langridge, and they together I love these comics. They're really fun. Like I said, it's a prequel to Bill and Ted 3. So as always, Bill and Ted are on a quest to try and write that song that's going to change everything. And they have to overcome a lot of obstacles, most notably evil metal. They ended up getting billed to play a show that turned out to be an evil metal festival. And you can imagine that didn't go over so well. So then they end up being on the run from all the evil metal fans. And I want to stress that evil metal is something they made up for this. It's not like death metal. So don't get upset if you're a death metal fan. It's evil metal. It's funny. If you like, it reminds me of, like Metalocalypse, where, we're kind of having fun, like teasing, making fun of like kind of hardcore.
Metalocalypse is a great comparison. It's awesome.
Yeah. So being as that is my sense of humor exactly, and of course I love Bill and Ted. For me, this hit all the buttons. We had Evan and Roger on stream a little while ago with the debut of issue number 1. And Roger demonstrated some of his art. It was really cool to get to see him draw Bill and Ted and kind of how these work out. And of course, the stations and all the other minor characters and major characters. We've had some cool variant covers for this series once again, so we get to work with other artists, which is always really fun. We've had Tyler Crook, who you would know from Harrow County, for example. Roger does a variant cover for each one. Evan also has done some covers. Ben Dewey, Beasts of Burden, you might know his work, did a really fun cover for issue 4. And Veronica Fish, who you might know from like Sabrina and some of the Archie comics. She did a variant cover for issue 3, which also has been turned into a cool enamel pin. So just a lot of fun Bill and Ted stuff. So this comic series, like I said, it's really fun. Issue 4 just came out, so we'll have the collection pretty soon. You can pre-order that, and you might still be able to find the single issues at comic shops. But that's one of my picks because I think it's fun and it adds a lot of humor and, just nostalgia at a time where I feel like we might need it in this crazy year.
I loved the new movie, by the way. I just thought it was so much fun. Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's just, I think I saw it like at the end of a rough week, as we've had so many in 2020, and it was a balm for the soul. It was just really sweet and super funny. It was exactly what I wanted out of that experience. So
I hadn't watched any of the old Bill and Ted's, and so I decided to watch it one day, and it was a lot more charming than I thought it would be. I didn't really know anything about Bill and Ted, but I was like, well, I'll give it a go. It was really delightful, and it really just warmed my heart.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Fun fact about Bill and Ted: my dad went to high school with the screenwriter for that movie.
There you go. Tiny world.
And they're in the first one serving Napoleon the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
The screenwriters are. So they serve him the Ziggy Piggy.
Yep.
Nice.
You should make sure that he gets these comics.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, my dad's a huge fan of the Orville comics he put out, so that's been my consistent gifts to him.
Yeah, these are really fun. You get to see all your favorite characters. Like I said, the stations, of course, are in it. So if you like Bill and Ted, absolutely check these out. They're really fun. And you can get those cool enamel pins too. I think we also did like some patches and stuff as well. So all that's at darkhorse.com. Enough about my picks. Gary, take the floor and tell people about your top picks.
The main thing I really want for this holiday season, I don't know how to get my hands on it, but I really want that Hellboy ornament. That seems like it would really wrap up, and I'll put the best face on 2020 I can. For an entity that both came from and goes to hell, Hellboy can stand in for this year as something that we've all survived. That ornament list looks really good. But then for titles, I'm really excited about the Umbrella Academy Hotel Oblivion Library Edition. That third volume, and just putting it all in a big package. And for fans of the show, it's fun to go back and read all of the books, and fun to see how the differences work on a comic series versus what works on TV, and to see how much bigger the world is, because there's a lot more information we get about the depth of the world and how it works in the comics. But in terms of looking at Hotel Oblivion, yet another one of our amazing library editions that's kind of huge, but also gives you the best look at that artwork at full size, which is really exciting. So I'm looking forward to that one. Either getting hands on it and just yet again seeing it in person, but that'll be a fun one to end this year and start next year.
Now, the library edition for Umbrella Academy is clothbound, right?
Oh, is it? I haven't had eyes on it, so I don't know.
I haven't gotten my hands on it yet either, but that's what it looks like. Kara, can you confirm?
Grab it.
Oh, that's right. Here we go.
Is it, Kara, is there a different than the deluxe? Because I have the deluxe right here. I can grab.
It is, yeah. Actually, it turns out I have the deluxe too, because I think I did a giveaway of the regular library edition. But so this will at least give you a bit of a visual. This is the deluxe, so it's more like a shiny hardbound. But yes, all of the Umbrella Academy standard library editions are cloth bound, so you won't see the shine on it. They are just kind of standalone. But I like the cloth bound texture. I think they're actually, they're more resistant to scuffing, for one, because they don't come in a slipcase.
Can you hold up that slipcase?
The slipcase, this is the deluxe edition, which is also currently available.
Yeah.
These are the extra fancy collector's ones. So you get an art print inside of this as well.
Yeah, because that deluxe edition with the Amano print is what's so fantastic.
Yeah, this has some new Gabriel Ba artwork.
A little higher. Oh, there we go. Most of it. And the joys of 2020 camera resolutions give us a nice fuzzy view that doesn't break any copyrights.
Actually, the art itself is that's actually not my camera resolution, believe it or not. It is kind of blurry. It looks like you should almost have 3D glasses on.
Yeah, that one's definitely.
But you can see a better image on our website too. Yeah, these Umbrella Academy, both the deluxe and the library, just standards, are really beautiful collections for any big fan of the show. And that Amano print is at direct.darkhorse.com. We'll pop a link in the chat for that. Yeah, he brought that in person to New York Comic Con last year, and Melissa almost had a heart attack getting it back.
Yep, I know.
How do we protect it?
I got to see that original up close in person. It's huge.
Yeah. Oh man, Amano is amazing. Of course, for those watching in the chat, he's the artist from things, like Final Fantasy and Vampire Hunter D. And we're really lucky to have a great relationship with him. So he's agreed to do some art prints for certain things like Umbrella Academy. So let me bring that up in our direct store so I can link that in the chat. So that wraps up our picks from the holiday guide and some of our additional 2020 we liked this and we recommend it for you. Does anybody want to shout out any additional titles before we wrap up today?
Sure. I'll plug the Black Hammer line one more time. We have 2, or I guess 3 series going on right now. We have Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy, which is wrapping up, which was a pre-pandemic launch, got delayed a whole bunch because of the pandemic, and is now wrapping up. It's super good, illustrated by Tansy Zanjik, written by Jeff Lemire, and it's just really good. We also have Colonel Weird Cosmagog, currently going right now, written by Jeff Lemire, illustrated by Tyler Crook. Brett and I were talking about how Dr. Andromeda makes you cry when you read it. Cosmagog also makes you cry when you read it. So if you just want to look at beautiful art and just read a gut-wrenching tale of a man out of time reliving trauma from his past, it's the book for you.
That makes it sound great.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really fantastic Black Hammer spin-off miniseries. And then also we have Barbarian going on right now, written by Jeff Lemire and Tate Brombal, illustrated by Gabriel Walta, lettered by Aditya Bidikar, during the HIV/AIDS crisis in the 80s. It's like all Black Hammer stuff. It's a superhero book, but it's a non-superhero book as much as you can get. It's just a really painful personal tale about identity, really, centered around the character of Barbarian, who can make himself blend in and look like anybody. And as Tate has eloquently said, much better than I ever can, he can choose to look like anybody, and he chooses to look like a white male cop. And it just goes from there. So also just announced too, not too long ago, Black Hammer Visions, which is a series of one-shots written by, illustrated by different creative teams for each issue. First issue launching, Patton Oswalt is writing with Dean Kotz illustrating. So that'll be really fun too.
The star-studded lineup for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I second all of the Black Hammer recommendations. Both Colonel Weird and Barbarian are intense, but beautiful. And yeah, I mean, all the Black Hammer series, I feel like they have the potential to kind of make you cry, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't read them. It's the good cry.
It is. It's cathartic. It's a cathartic cry.
I am going to have our bot draw a winner in our giveaway. What you will win is a copy of that Umbrella Academy Hotel Oblivion Library Edition. So congratulations to Sammy Viking. You have been drawn as the winner. And all you need to do, you can use the claim command in chat, and also please send us a whisper on Twitch, which is a private message. If we don't hear from you, we'll reach out. You can just send it to the Dark Horse Comics account, and we will get in touch with you about shipping your prize. But congrats, you win this awesome library edition. So I hope you enjoy, and if you're not already a fan of the Umbrella Academy, maybe now you will be.
Don't start.
So thank you everyone from Dark Horse for joining me to do this today for our kind of holiday send-off rundown. I'm going to give you all some applause from me for doing this. Thank you.
And as always, thank you, Kara, for all of the work that goes into putting together what the hell are we going to talk about today.
Thanks,
Gary, who always runs them from behind the scenes.
Right.
Yes.
Gary is the reason that we can all work this year, literally at all. So
Yeah.
Why we're not carving into stone tablets. So.
Mailing pigeons to one another.
Yep.
Writing with pens and paper. What is that?
Try to keep us tickling the cyberpunk age without the dystopian part, but
we're inching ever closer. We're inching ever closer.
Well, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in today. Congrats to our giveaway winner. Thank you to my awesome Dark Horse team for joining us. And I'm going to let everybody go about your days. Dark Horse streams live every Wednesday. We're going to take a break next week, though, for the holidays. So we'll be back after that. And stay tuned because we have lots of really cool guests lined up to join us in January. So every Wednesday, like I said, 1 p.m. Pacific, if we have anything additional, we'll announce it and let you know. But we're always here on Twitch, and find us on social media to follow along with any more news and announcements. And with that, we'll say farewell and happy holidays.